Okay, everyone. Um, TOK 1, week 7. We need to have a little bit of a talk and a little bit of a discourse here because I find myself in a little bit of a perplexing situation. I asked you guys to turn in these ethical dilemma presentations. Uh, Yesterday was supposed to be the due date. And as of right now, I have one presentation from one person who ended up not being able to even get in touch with their partner, and nobody else. And this kind of puts me in a sticky position because our next thing is supposed to be dealing with those ethical systems presentations as a class and reviewing them and giving commentary and talking about them. But we can't do that because none of them are done. Um, and really, on the whole, if I'm being completely honest, the class as a whole is not doing very well right now. Um, Over half the class right now, I think, has a failing grade. If we look at discussion post, um, let's see, last week's discussion, I think I had only 4 people actually post anything um, out of 15 in the class. The class is kind of falling apart at this point, and we've still got. I mean, the news came out this weekend that we're doing this until January. Um, I'm having live class meetings whenever we can. I'm posting plenty of material. I'm trying to come up with a wide variety of different types of work for you guys to do. I don't know what else to do to try and make this class successful. If you got any ideas, feel free to reach out to me and let me know what you think might work best at trying to engage more of the class as a whole or something, whatever, because I'm kind of at a loss. So, what I've decided to do is TOK is a kind of nice course in the fact that we've got way more hours and way more days built in than we actually need to do to cover all the content. I told you guys early on in the videos that TOK has a lot of flexibility in it as far as kind of when we tackle things and how we go about doing things. So I've decided that this week we're going to slow down and see if maybe if I don't build in some time to allow people to catch up and maybe get those ethical presentations filled out or some of the other wide variety of missing assignments, maybe we can't correct some of our grades. And this week we're just going to talk a little bit about the extended essay, and all I'm going to ask you to do is come up with a topic for your extended essay. That's going to be your only deliverable this week. Is reply to the discussion post and give me a topic for your extended essay. Now, everyone right now is saying, Price, what is the extended essay? That's a great question, and I'm glad you asked. So, the extended essay is kind of like the capstone paper for IB, and it replaces the capstone paper that you would have to write if you were not an IB student. As you know, every student at Antioch High School is supposed to write a capstone paper. It's a pretty long paper. It's usually about 10 pages for those people not at IB. It's supposed to be built around their CTE course. For our IB students, the CP kids have to write a reflective project. You guys have to do the extended essay. The extended essay is a longer work. Actually, if you click here, you can see a bunch of examples. It's a longer work. It usually ends up coming in at about 10 to 15 pages, but it's really about anything that you want to write about. It needs to fit into one of the IB subject areas, right? So either needs to be about literature and language, psychology, economics. Well, I mean, there are so many IB courses. Technically, it can be about an IB course that we don't offer as well. That's fine. The problem there is that when it comes, well, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. So basically, pick any, think of an idea, think of something that you care about, think of something that you actually are interested in and care about and want to know more about. And that's what your extended essay should be about. We can figure out a way to make that fit into a chorus and fill the EE requirements. But the EE is supposed to be about you doing independent research around something that you care passionately about, that you want to know more about, that maybe you want to base the rest of your life around. And it's the time that you get to pick what you learn about. There's no You're going to have a supervisor, but they don't have anything to do with the topic that you pick or what you choose to eventually write about or do or do research about. And basically, your EE is a long form research document about that. This person's EE ended up being 12 pages with about 2 pages of bibliography. It looks like, but it's a long it's a long form research paper about that. It's on I'd say it's on an undergraduate level. It's the kind of paper that you would write as part of a bachelor's degree. It's not like graduate school level. Sometimes the methodologies can be pretty high, especially if you get into one of the hard sciences. Like if you do like a biology or a chemistry or a physics, you get into those hard science areas, and they're going to ask you to do your own experiment and gather your own data, and then justify that data in the context of what other people have written about the subject, and that gets pretty close to graduate level stuff. But for most of them, most of you are going to do history or English. Let's see what else. World studies becomes a pretty popular one as well. Most of you are probably not going to do hard science because those are much more challenging to write. So, but basically, your idea here is come up with any anything that you want to write about. All right, and then try and come up with a couple of ideas. I would like each of you to have 3 different ideas of topics that you would consider writing this like EE about. All right, again, imagine that's a 10 to 15 page research paper. All right, and so come up with about 3 different topics that you would like to write about, because what happens is I take those topics and I list them, and then each of you are going to be assigned an individual extended essay supervisor. So that is an IB instructor that is going to work with you one on one in the development of your extended essay. They're going to meet with you multiple times, at least 3. And they're going to help guide you through the process, read your drafts for you, talk you through the outline process, so on and so forth. But the first step of that is that we need to come up with some topics. So when I have the supervisors pick, they don't pick students, they pick the topics that they want to work with. So they look at the topics that you list, and then they pick the topics that they feel the most comfortable with, or that they feel that they would do the best job working with. And they pick the topics, not the students, so that way there isn't any bias. And I want to work with the student, or I don't want to work. We avoid that, and we have supervisors just pick the topics that they think that they're going to be the most knowledgeable on, and the best to work with. For instance, I can tell you right now, I'm always going to get about 3 of you because always happens. I always get 3 or 4. If any of you decide to do something that is about philosophy, I'm probably like that. Almost always ends up being me. I'm the guy out of the IB teachers that knows philosophy the most. Although that is changing. McMurray actually knows quite a bit about philosophy as well. So maybe I won't have to do them all by myself. But historically, anything that was philosophy, I ended up picking up because that's I'm the guy that knows that. Conversely, right, if somebody were to want to write like a bio paper, right, that's going to go to Manning's because she knows biology, right? Or if you want to do sports exercise science, it's going to go to Manning's because that's who does that, right? Sometimes we have more papers in a topic than we often have multiple history papers. Davidson and we now have 2 history teachers. Before, we only had 1 history teacher, and it was just too much for 1 history teacher to do, so they would get spread around a little bit. But we all pick based off a topic. So this week, your only assignment is to make sure that you aren't missing anything for either of my classes, whether that's English or TOK, and really for any of your other classes as well, because I imagine that if you're behind for me, you're probably behind for other people as well. So take this time, go do some makeup work, go catch back up, pass some classes, and then give me 3 topics that you think that you could write about for your extended essay. I've put a link up here that will take you to a bunch of extended essay examples. So if you want to see a bunch of example extended essays, you can do that by just clicking here. And then I've also not that you'll need this yet or necessarily want to view it, but I can't host it for too terribly long. This is a textbook. It's a really short short little extended essay companion book that Oxford produces that gives you kind of things to consider as you get started. It explains the extended essay in depth. It kind of explains things that you might want to consider. It explains how we go about supervising it, how it's scored. I'm not looking to get into all of that quite yet. We'll get into that later, probably second semester, maybe once we have time to meet face to face, because we're supposed to be getting back into school in January. So I'd rather get into that all then. But if you wanted to go ahead and read up on it and get a bit more knowledgeable about kind of what you're getting into as you go through the topic selection process, I have gone ahead and thrown this up so that way you can take a gander at it, as it were. All right, and actually, let me just go ahead and make this assignment here. And yeah, and that's kind of all that you need to do this week. Post your three topics here. We'll make that due, let's see, let's make that due by Sunday. And we'll make that the easiest summative grade in the world, all right? You don't even need to attach a file. You can just type and respond to them, right? That's fine. You can just, yeah. So, yeah, just do that. And that's it. If you guys need help, if you're struggling with something, if you're confused about things, like, I'm here to be your advocate, guys. I want to help you. I want to, like, some of you have reached out and told me that, you know, like, somebody had a family member that died and they were not able to get something turned in. That's that's understandable. Somebody else reached out to me and asked me for, like, flexibility with, like, due dates because they are having to work a lot and a bunch of, that's fine. Let me know what's going on first, and then do your best to get stuff turned in. Those two people are also turning things in. They are still actively trying, and they've let me know what is going on, right? I can be flexible. I can work with that. We can work around that. I'm more worried about, like, over half the class who isn't turning anything in and haven't reached out to me. I have no idea what's going on. That's a little scary to me. So, yeah, that's all I've got. That's all I've got for the week. I'll probably be around either on Wednesday or Friday. I'm going to keep office hours live on Teams, so that way if you have questions or if you need help with something, whether that's TOK or it's English or it's whatever, you can hop in, and you can chat it up with me. For those of you that don't know, I used to be the only IB English teacher as well, and I taught IB English 1 and 2 in the past. Fregosa was supposed to teach all of English 1 this year. I ended up with a class of 5 students as well. Only half of them are doing any work in there as well. But I'm also more than happy to help you guys out with English or how to navigate that as well. But I just need you guys to talk to me. You guys gotta talk to me so that way I can help you. All right. So that's all I've got. Have a great week. If you need help, come in and talk to me on. I'll post on the update on what day I'll be on Teams, but just come and talk to me. If not, please post your EE topics. I will put them up for supervision probably sometime next week, and then once I have supervisors, I'll let you guys know. Have a great one. Please finish those ethics presentations so that way we can finish with ethics. We're almost done with ethics. We're going to, like, maybe watch like a short, like, YouTube clip and talk about that a little bit, and then we're going to be done with ethics here. For those of you that didn't watch it last week, and by that I mean all of you because I've checked and nobody actually watched it, I did an hour interview with an ethicist, a guy with a degree in, like, ethics, and we explore how ethics apply to our, like, modern world and how ethical systems apply to the way that we actually live life and how our society functions. It's definitely, I mean, I think it's worth checking out. Dan's probably the smartest guy that I've ever met, or one of the two smartest people that I've ever met. So yeah, go and explore that a little bit as well. You can also kind of see. I mean, it's a very casual conversation, so you can also kind of see what a casual conversation between two people exploring intellectual ideas looks like. It was, yeah. So, anyways, have a good one, guys. Bye.